Good morning, comrades. Now that the Nürburgring Touristenfahrten is finally open again for public, I think it's time to make another video about the safety, or so to say, the how-to driving the track. The problem with driving the track, or actually the misconceptions about it, is that people often think that you need to have some kind of a sports car, or like a sports car, or even a supercar, or something more or less in between. But in reality, the majority of population that come and lap the track do it in their pretty much daily car, something similar like a Mark IV TDI. And this is going to be our today's subject. Yes, because the spirit of TF, or Public Session Nürburgring, is about enjoying the world's most famous and exciting racetrack in any car of your own, with your family, with your friends, with your, well, dogs are officially not excluded, but it's not a good idea to stress out your animal. So let's hop in and talk about the important things. Safety first. As we're rolling to the track, let me talk you through the common misconceptions, or so to say, the fears that people have. First of all, it's usually, of course, the track being mostly demanding because of its characteristics, and that the barriers are pretty close, so there's very little room for mistake. But this is something that you have in your own hand. No one is asking you to push, no one is asking you to go too fast, chase lap times, chase your friends, other faster cars, etc. Second thing is usually the weather, but then again, no one is asking you to overdrive your car and yourself in like different weather conditions. So again, that's something that you can adapt to. Now, the third thing is the traffic, because usually of type of videos on YouTube, etc., people think like, oh my god, they're like maniacs driving on the track, or like way too fast cars. Now, regarding fast cars, I must say, of course, they are fast, but they're also fast for a reason. There's usually locals or people who come here for many years, and they know the etiquette of Touristenfahrten. They know you need to stay left all the time, or you need to stay right all the time, overtaking on the left side only. And after many years, you start to find out and realize, so to say, the danger groups. You can expect like, oh, that guy might be new, or he doesn't know the rules, so they are going to back off. So most of the times it's the slower traffic which is causing the problems, and in this case today I'm going to show you how you can be a responsible slower traffic and enjoy. Again, as mentioned, the most important rule is to stay on the right side of the track. Touristenfahrten, or Public Session Nürburgring, is being classified as public road, so thereby not a racetrack. Oh, some traffic situation here, like I said, like a public road. So I guess the gentleman just didn't have a lap ticket. Right, so being classified as a public road, the most important thing is there is no such thing as a racing line during a public session. So the rule of the thumb is you have to legally stay on the right side. So in case you would have an accident with another car and police would come, yes, police would come and check who is to blame, they're gonna well, use the rules of public road and see, okay, if you didn't keep on the right and you try to take the racing line, you will be at fault. So thereby, staying on the right is most important thing, and today I'm gonna show you that you can still enjoy the track by staying on the right, and most importantly, talk you through the, so to say, special turns which could be tricky. So we're gonna start with this main straight. This is where you get on the track, and usually, well, lots of fast cars go on here. Like with the GT2 RS or GT3, you're gonna be like hitting over 250 kilometers an hour towards the downhill. So it's especially important to stay on the right side here and let the faster traffic pass by. And if you want to indicate that you've seen them and you're gonna let them pass, just turn the indicator to the right, and that's it. As simple as that. Over here, ideally you would go left towards like the car in front of me does, but quite often you forget that there is like someone chasing you behind you, and that's very important to keep your eyes on the mirrors as well, especially for the left-hand corners. This one is pretty tricky towards the T13 because, well, ideally you go from left to right, so you always have to watch out for the faster traffic again, but it's usually also the responsibility of the faster drivers to make an overtaking. But what I want to say is, if you're staying on the right, make sure to stay on the right as tight as possible. Do not go suddenly to the left. So same goes here. This one's pretty easy. This is also the ideal line in the wet, where you have more grip. Now, going towards Hatzenbach, again, usually you aim for the 2 kilometer sign, and this is a pretty fast section. So, and especially because you have like a pretty long bend, you kind of could lose the traffic behind you in the mirror. You can like kind of mistake them. So when you try to go towards the ideal line, yeah, then it can become tricky. Especially here, you stay on the right side, you go on the brakes, and if there's a faster traffic and you go turn into the left, yeah, that can also cause problems. So be extra careful here. So we have some faster traffic behind us. I'm gonna just let them pass. 2 of them actually. There we go. That's a pretty nice overtaking etiquette. Here it's pretty much straightforward. The only thing is, I would say, again, most importantly, obviously, stay on the right side. This is a very nice stretch for overtaking, and the cars are catching up because of the straight here, and it could become dangerous here in Hoheichen because, again, you're changing direction, and because of the bankings you can lose sight of the faster cars in your mirror. So make sure to be, again, on the right side. Well, approaching Kuderbacher Höhe towards Flugplatz. Also here, a very fast section of the track, 170 kilometers an hour with ideal car, 180 roughly. So important here, usually you would be pushed out to the outside. Yep, and important to stay on the right side in case you want to let someone overtake. But this is Schwedenkreuz, without a doubt, one of the fastest, if not the fastest section of the track when it comes to corners. I always say stay here on the right side because cars reach close to 300 kilometers an hour on the top hill, and once you go over the crest towards the corner, that's when it becomes tricky. You want to go to the left side, but obviously if there's a faster traffic behind you, you do want to, like with the big speed differences, you can still stay on the right side. As you can see, it's pretty safe as long as you know the track layout, and otherwise just don't overdrive yourself. Going into Arenberg, also nothing special here, just staying right, all good. Now the Foxhole is a very tricky one. It's like one of the most unpleasant sections. The thing is, it's a very fast section, but with the combination of corners and pretty narrow one, you actually do not want to be overtaking, but sometimes you're being forced to overtake, or at least this is like one of the most obvious, because you go also downhill, so the speed difference is going to be very high. So usually here you should be going a bit on the brakes because the cars would want to go on that curbstone, and quite often it's like an ideal overtaking situation to go on the left. But important, again, stay on the right. Now, Adenauer Forest, the section where lots of people just go straight on the on the grass. Our friends from Ari Motorsport, just staying on the right, all good. Let the faster traffic go by. I must say, I definitely am enjoying myself a lot, just like cruising on the track. No necessity to go fast, no need to go to do anything crazy. Mezgesveld is a pretty fast corner. It's pretty okay to stay on the outside even with the faster conditions. Now here, a very famous James left. So we're staying on the right, car coming through, and ideally I would go on the left side where he was, but he could take his ideal line while me staying on the right side anyway. Kallenhardt is of course a very tricky one because it's a very tight section. So if you are going to stay on the right, make sure to have adequate speed to be able to do so, that you will not being pushed out if a car is overtaking you. Going into Piff-Puff or Spiegelkurve. It's a pretty simple one. You can just stay on the right, all good. There we go. Miss, hit, miss. Also stay, again, right, but you can keep the pace good. And this here towards Weerseifen is one of the sections where a lot of cars will be doing their overtakings, because you finally have a straight here, and important here is to keep right still while they're doing their overtaking maneuvers, because sometimes it's like a train of 3 cars that want to go past you, and you just want to make sure that you don't suddenly go change direction, which is going to cause lots of issues. Here is again also one of the very important things, namely the entrance and exit point of Breitscheid, which is currently closed during the contactless TF during the Corona time, but it will be open, and that's where you can get off, buy some ice cream, get back on again. Service vehicles are coming off, so in case you would want to get off, you would probably ideally want to go more to the left to make the turn into this section. But always keep an eye out for vehicles that may want to enter or exit. So the speed limits that are here are for a reason, so just like make sure to pay extra attention. Over here, pretty much straightforward and literally forward, just like not too fast with with your slow Mark IV TDI. Going straight, keeping right. Also through Lauda links, you can stay on the right side. And there we go. The tricky one is becoming here. Again, lots of overtakings are happening here usually. And because it's very important to stay as long as possible on the left, being on the right, you need to reduce your speed a lot more drastically in case a faster traffic is coming through to make that possible. But as you can see, we are already halfway through the lap, and I did not have any situation where I would be feeling uncomfortable with such a big speed difference between me and others. You can just like, yeah, cruising, having fun, having a talk. I'm talking to you, but you can have a conversation with your girlfriend, wife, or spouse, or like, I don't know, dog again, if you're talking to your dog. And there we go. And this one I always recommend with older cars to just, yeah, take it easy. Like even put it in lower RPM in a higher gear, because it puts lots of stress on the car, because the track goes uphill, and you can put a lot of stress on the engine, and you're going to be not the first one with an old shitbox that's making all kinds of noises. Oh, cup holders. You're gonna be not the first one who's gonna blow up his engine, and yeah, that's not what you want to do. It's the radio. Good. Right. Approaching Starstrecke, which is also a very particular corner because it's pretty much a 180 degrees corner. So ideally you would be more on the outside, but now, for example, a very good example of faster traffic wanting to overtake us, and we're just staying on the right, and they can do their thing. The carousel. This is something that lots of people would want to take the inside, but there's nothing wrong with taking the outside. It's also probably recommended for a slower car, so you can save your suspension, not to put too much stress on your suspension components if you're driving an older car or your daily car that you want to save it. So yeah, and easy as that. Or if you're driving a Porsche 919, of course, then you should be taking the outside as well, because the car is too low to be taking carousel. Here, always watch out for fake grass on the right, if you're staying on the outside. Hole 8 as well, because it's a pretty tight corner. There we go. Okay, another very narrow section with some bends, a very technical one, Wippermann, especially because of the fact that people want to take actually the right line over the curb for an ideal picture, etc. So yeah, there is not much you can do. You can just stay in the right and people will have to go around you, but yeah, just keep an eye out for faster traffic behind you. Also now approaching Brunchen, which a lot of people want to show off for the public, for photographers. So nothing wrong with staying on the right side. and you can take it pretty nice as well. It gets a bit tighter at the end. Going into ice curve. Gets tight very well, so watch out for overtaking traffic. Stay on the outside. You could take the curb also as well if you want to, but no one is as demanding you to, obviously. Finalizing, also a section that's very, very fast. So watch out for traffic that is closing in on you pretty quick. Make sure to change direction in time to be here on the right side. And then as well here, watch out for overtaking traffic, because the speed difference can be very, very high, but as long as you're prepared for it and slow down in time for a corner, should be all fine. And then Stefan Bell of S, a blind corner. I must say this is one of the sections where fast guys do not take any risks with overtaking. Oh, now there's a faster car that we can move over to. It's not the best place for overtaking, but I'm pretty sure the guy's like, oh, he has Croatian license plates, let's take it easy, let's not take any risks. All I want to say is, like, whenever I'm with someone in the car, or I'm in a car and I'm in a slower car and I put my indicator to the right, I pretty much never had anyone try to overtake me, even though that I indicate that I will be staying on the right side and it's safe to do so. So having said that, don't be afraid. That's a pretty safe section. Also, mini carousel, just stay on the outside, nothing wrong with that. You may even want to stay on the outside to save your car from unnecessary suspension stress. That's it. Approaching the last corner, Gagenkopf. So lots of overtakings are happening here before the corner most of the time, and here just make sure to stay on the right as close as possible. Take out more of the speed than you would usually do if you would be entering this corner, and that's it, pretty much. Once you're approaching the main straight, get off the throttle or put the car in higher gear, let the car roll out and enjoy yourself. Let the car cool down and be happy about making a lap. As you can see, nothing special, nothing, I would say, what's the right word? Nothing terrifying, at least I find so. So go out there, take your car, enjoy, have fun. No need to try to do racing line or impress anyone. Just a casual lap, and to say like, hey, I've ticked the box, I've been on the Nürburgring, and many more laps may follow. So enjoy. Looking forward to see you here on the track, guys. Have a good day.